Welcome back to Leipzig. My old guide stinks, so we are refreshing it with some new tips and tricks to help to give you and your team a much easier time getting this map done. There are two badges related to this map, the first being Explosive Retreat. This is where you survive the full map in one life. There is a second, which we will go over when it is relevant. For now, let's get you guys through the whole map. For team composition, like usual, I'd recommend at the minimum 1 sapper, but 2 to 3 can make it a lot more comfortable for the sappers. You also want a surgeon and a chaplain, since accidents happen, and like usual, just a good mix of the rest of the classes. So you spawn in a nice old church, and we already have a conundrum. As soon as you exit out that side door, there's usually a reasonably big horde waiting for you. The problem with that horde is that if you don't get out quick enough, they're going to surround the doorway. Sometimes bombers and runners are even in there, so I'll suggest either getting a crucifix out there or just pushing all together as a team. Sometimes it can be pretty easy, like there's literally no zombies out there at all, but other times it can be a little bit stingy. But if you wait around, you can get stuck in the doorway of the church. It's basically the zombies made a choke point in the church. Like, you want to get out there as soon as possible as a group, so then no one unnecessarily dies. And just watch out for bombers, guys. Don't go meleeing them. Like, don't do that. Now, if you have been playing for more than a day or two, you should get out of there pretty easily. And onto the first objective, break down those doors. Behind these doors is a large horde of about 22 runners just waiting to give you a big old smooch on the neck. There are a few ways I'd suggest dealing with this section. First way is again with the crucifix, one wave of that little wooden marvel and all the runners cower. Then your team can easily go in and take care of the remainders. Second way is with a sapper and some stakes. Simply place it down at the door and the runners kill themselves with the stakes. Just make sure to spam it with the hammer just in case they break it. Third way is as simple as having a bunch of seamen shoot their weapons at the hordes. Some other ways I wouldn't suggest as much, but are still viable, include chucking grenades or tar bottles, shooting the cannons at the back, or if you've managed to gain enough on the meter, a charge could even work. Although I definitely wouldn't recommend using a canteen of courage unless you're like the only person left alive, then maybe. Now of course we push through into our first proper defense segment. There are usually a few zombies lingering around, especially around the corner, so just be wary and don't go meleeing any bombers in your way. Sappers should get in there straight away and start building. The best defense are stakes on the foot of each grave, then some barricades right at the entrance. This will hurt zombies spawning in with the barricades there as a backup. Having 2 or 3 sappers can make it way more sustainable, way easier to manage. It also helps to put stakes at the door here, since zombies do spawn from behind and they can get a sneaky attack on you. Everyone else should be splitting into 2 teams. The first, presumably larger team, stays with the sappers to help deal with the mass hordes of the undead. The second, slightly smaller team, should pick up the torches and wait at the barricade with them lit. You light them by walking into the invisible wall next to the giant fire. Only when all this is done, you should push the cart into its position. Obviously, this rarely ever happens in a public server, which is why I suggest being swift, because people like pushing the cart straight away. Only when the objective triggers though, should you start putting the torches into the barricades. When the cart moves into place, the zombies begin spawning. Some come from this bit near the fire, but they are very manageable. As for the barricade, the total health is 10,000. When ignited by a torch, i.e. the fire gets put on it, the barricade will burn at a rate of X multiplied by 10 per second. For instance, 1 torch means 10 health gets removed from the barricade every second. The X value increases by 1 for every torch put into the fire. If 10 torches get put into the barricade, then it will be bleeding 100 health a second. It doesn't take long with a focus group to easily destroy the health of the barricade. Then, the next objective, move the cart to the gate. The people at the first zombie spawn should split about 50-50, roughly half, and the sappers should stick to the area where they're currently at and ensure the zombies don't get out. The other half should join the players in stopping the zombies attacking folk pushing the cart, especially from the spawn next to the destroyed barricade and coming from the palisades at the top of the street. Just a lot of monotonous meleeing of zombies here, and be wary of igniters since they begin spawning from the barricaded spawn. Now ensure when this objective triggers, a few of your team should still be carrying lit torches. This is because when the cart is at the top of the street, you'll have to light the cart's fuse to blow the gate. If you've forgotten a lit torch, you have to return to the wall of fire and light a new one, which takes time and could very well be a run ender. Do note when the destroy cart prompt goes up, sappers might as well just abandon their posts, because the zombies there will destroy their buildings, and if not, they can break them down. Now, when you do light the cart, stand back. This thing will kill you if you're accidentally in range, and upon walking through the gate area, the next respawn triggers. Now, if you aren't an absolute douche during this part, you can focus on killing any of the extra zombies coming from the first part, healing and blessing players, or reloading. The sappers need to pack up and start building a defense around the gate at the finale. I'll suggest rows of barricades combined with stakes at the front. There is no one design fits all, I can only suggest what works well for me. And of course, the more sappers you have, the different designs you can incorporate. Then, and only then, when the sappers are ready, you should ring the bell. This triggers the finale. Zombies will start spawning around the graveyard. This includes bombers and Zero-Seers in the mix, so be very wary of accidentally meleeing a bomber or getting shanked by a Zero-Seer. This goes on for quite a while, so ensure you use all your saved tar wattles and grenades in this part. It can get pretty hard if your team doesn't know what they're doing. I'll suggest splitting your team in two, each going to one side of the bell building in the middle. Note that lancers can pretty easily take down bombers spawning by poking them through the headstones, though I would heavily suggest wearing a cuirass since it might still hurt. Soon enough, and you'll be doing this for a little bit, but soon enough the music begins and our goat Jacob comes along. When you hear this music, this should be your cue to retreat to the barricades the sappers so thoughtfully provided. If you've already been pushed into the barricades, well, this is your it's our shining moment, you don't have much long left. He will light his barrel, forgetting that to imitate a bomber you need a fuse, and blows himself up. Don't stand too close to the explosion because, well, obviously if you didn't learn from the cart, what did you think was going to happen? The minute it blows, it is the best point to start a charge and get your team the hell out of there. You have just until after the song to make it across the bridge. You should take down any zombies on the town side if you're there early to make stragglers on your team have an easier time getting across. A charge or a crucifix can be a great utility at this section. If you are wearing a cuirass or engineer armor, just be wary that you are slower and you will have a tougher time getting across the bridge, so don't dilly-dally or make use of a charge. Now, you should just run across the bridge, and if you make it across without it blowing up on you, you would have survived Leipzig in a single life and achieved the Explosive Retreat badge. Congratulations. However, we aren't done yet. The second badge, Slight Miscalculation, is achieved by being blown up by the bridge. This can obviously be done on purpose by just standing on the bridge as it blows up in your face. However, there is an unfortunate chance that, if you miss your timing, you can be almost across when it blows up in your face, like this clip here. How unfortunate. But if you do both of these things, you would have achieved both badges. And if you already have those badges, well, hopefully this guide has helped you have an easier time in Leipzig. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you when I see you.